All right, welcome to part two of Leadership Impact. Here we're going to look at different perspectives and styles around the room in your audience with those key people you need to influence. So the simple challenge here is that we all come to life, to situations with a perspective. We have a set of skills, we have a life experience, we have people we've grown up with, and we tend to have a point of view that we're sometimes not, if you like, aware of. So the key to this section is to understanding the different perspectives, to know which of those perspectives you come from in different situations, and to learn how to read other people's perspectives. And finally, to be flexible, to know when you might take a point of view and see a situation change and to move your influence approach to a different way. So remember, this is part of a series where we're looking at leadership impact in three key steps: empathy, how to know your audience; physical, emotional, mental; perspective and style; and finally, we'll look at leadership flexibility. So when we think about perspective and style, I think it's often useful to look at our fellow creatures and to watch their behaviors and help think about how that might be, and who in your team adopts these different points of view. You know, who's the humble, cautious, introverted one, who's the playful one, who's the dominant one, and who's the real careful, detailed, perfectionist one. So in a way to look at this, when you ask the question, think about how people behave in a meeting. And the vertical axis is emotion at the top, thinking at the bottom. So you ask the question, in a meeting, am I more emotional, spontaneous, or am I more cognitive, rational, in control, doing things by the spreadsheet? And on the horizontal axis, you get extroverted, I'm open, I'm talking, I'm contributing, versus more introverted or amiable, probably much more quiet, nodding, accepting. Yes, that's affirming other people, but probably not launching too many new ideas into it. So thinking about how you come across and asking your team, what do they see when they're in a meeting with you, is a very helpful way to start. And to understand those styles, if you like, that style that is high emotion and super extroverted, dominant, is the pioneer. This is your entrepreneur, your strategist, the person who's out there making things happen. And when we look at that style, it is very focused on being visible, all right, getting entertainment. To start a business, to be a good marketer, you really need to be strong in that pioneer style. If we drop down one to the driver, this is often someone who turns out to be the CEO. They have a very different brain, a very different style. They're stronger, they're super self-disciplined, and they're driven to achieve goals. So very rational, logical, on task, but also willing to call the shots. As we go to the top right, you're looking at the integrator. The integrator is more amiable, more sensitive. The focus for that integrator is other people, how they're feeling. That is your HR expert, someone who really understands where people are coming from, who listens carefully, who can help often guide the driver down the bottom left. And then, of course, down the bottom right, we have the guardian, analytic, cautious, everything done by the book, check off the boxes, very detail-oriented, sometimes perfectionist. All right, so there we have four styles. For the pioneer, it's all about attention. For the driver, it's all about control. For the integrator, it's all about affirmation, getting approval, if you like. And for the guardian, it's about safety. Now, there are very healthy ways to express these styles and less healthy way to express the styles. And on top of that, we can be flexible. So if you know that you're a driver and sometimes you need to listen to others, perhaps you should team up with someone who's good at that. Perhaps you should practice some of those listening skills, checking in with others, making sure that you don't finish your pitch and close the meeting. Ask for other people's pieces. Now, often you can see there's a tension. Can you imagine if I'm the driven CEO and I call my HR expert and I say, in my office, now I've got an issue I need to talk to you about. Well, you give that integrator a heart attack, right? But that CEO really needs the integrator to make a good team. And likewise, no good team can operate without a guardian. And that guardian often operates with some tension against the pioneer. All right, so let's remember what we're trying to do here. First, which is your style? Which is your dominant, easy style? When things are going well, which one do you fall into with ease? Second question for you. When you're under pressure, when things are difficult, going through adversity, which style comes out? We often have a sneaky style that comes out when things are not going well, and we can be particularly blind to that style. All right. Question 3, which is the most useful style in the situation? But that really means that you've got to use that empathy we talked about in session 1 to understand who's in the room with you. Because if you can understand where someone is coming from, their perspective, their drivers, their motivators, you can begin to adjust your style to them. So, for example, if you need to influence your CFO, and your CFO is a very rational person, it would make sense to come into that meeting with your spreadsheets, with a copy of their emails, with plenty of little markers on that. So you show this person that you've had a detailed look at what's going on. That will immediately put the guardian at ease. And you're willing to sit down with them and go through the detail. All right. That will be a much easier meeting than if you step and say, hey, we need to do this and we need to do that. And not to worry about those things. It'll sort itself out. You put that poor guardian into a panic. All right, so we'll go through again. 1, what is your strong style when things are going well? 2, which style sneaks out when you're under pressure? 3rd, which is the right style for you to use with the audience you're in? And 4th, make sure you use your empathy to get a view of each person you want to influence. And that will take us to section 3. How do we choose the right leadership style for the right situation?